How do we know if we're stuck in a money loop?
Oh, we're in the loop. Yeah. So the thing that I really hone in on, especially with everyone that I work with, is I try to make it not about the money. It's not actually about the income level. And this is proven through, I have some women working with me that are week to week. Like, I'm talking paycheck to paycheck. They are down to the last dollar, and they're making it work, and they're doing what they need to do. And then I've got some women that are on 6-7 figures. How can the same women with such significant income levels have the same problems, right? Because this is what society tells us, that money will solve the problems that you have. But
we've got the amazing Katie Martin, mindset and money mentor, joining us today. And you have a massive mission to help 10,000 women break generational money cycles, shifting their relationship with money to build wealth with intention. And we had the honor of having you in our program this week, where you got to empower all of my coaching clients. And it was so special. Everybody's still talking about it, and it was absolutely amazing. So thank you. I'm so excited that you're here today, because we're going to be talking about all things money.
My favorite topic.
Yeah, it's a big topic, and it's a topic that a lot of people avoid, and it's a topic that, if we think about money, can be the thing that brings a lot of pain, especially when it comes to business, women. So, I'm going to start out with, what was your relationship with money, and what was your big epiphany for you to now be a money mentor?
My relationship, definitely I was an avoider. Like, when I think back to in my 20s, I avoided it. I was that person that if I just don't log in and I don't look at it, then I can't have any feelings, whether it's like, oh, yay, there's money in there. Oh shit, low-key anxiety because there's no money in there. So if I just don't log in, if I just avoid it, I was always that person that was never paid my bills on time, always had things following me up, or didn't even know when my rego was due, just typical, like, 20-year-old, no shits given. And it wasn't until I got older that I kind of realized that, oh, okay, we actually need to take responsibility for this whole money thing. And I think it all started, like, the actual, like, birth of it started when my partner, we moved over to WA, and they started a roofing business and literally just fell into money. Like, Perth was booming. There were 2 boys who barely finished school, right? And they just, like, fell into this roofing business, and they were making loads of money, and it got a little bit out of control because they weren't putting any money away for tax. They weren't putting the money away for the suppliers. They were just blowing it. We were having a good time. We all lived in this big shared party house. You know what I mean? Like, it was just good times, good memories. And if you know it, like, we had a good time. But yeah, it got to the point where it started to get a bit scary with ATO and people on the boys' back, and I put my hand up to come inside their business and sort it out. And so that was really the initiation point to go, what is a profit and loss? What is cash flow? What is zero? How do we do? And I did a zero course, and I did a MyOb course, and then I met with an accountant, and I learned about business structures and, companies and sole traders and trust, and how you gotta put money away for tax, and you gotta pay your boys super, and, like, just everything. So still to this day, I thank my partner and his best mate that went into business, because their stupidity and their total mismanagement of their business and their money is what got me kind of into it. And I think I just loved it. I was like, oh, there's actually structure and systems and processes and ways to optimize the money and put it here to make you more money, then grab it there to pay off the tax. And that's where it all began from a system point of view. And I guess from a mindset point of view, it was really from my family. And this is where the mission of breaking generational cycles comes through, because now that my parents are older, my dad's actually passed last year, but, my mum's older, my dad's older, and witnessing them now in their struggle, in their week to week, in their living off, the government payments, and stepping back and going, oh shit, they never thought about their future. They didn't put money away. They didn't invest. They didn't put money in super. I need to stop this cycle. Then what was really interesting, Beck, was like I started looking at the whole family line, and I went, wait. Well, my parents didn't have money, and their parents didn't have money. There's no financial literacy. There's no wealth. There's no assets. There's no substance when it comes to money and wealth and how to do it in my family. And so it was at that point I went, okay, this cycle stops with me. I want to give my kids everything that I couldn't get as an adult from my parents.
Really interesting, because my parents, like, all as I've ever seen is my dad. My dad's 71 and he still works 100 hours a week.
Does he really?
He's literally the hardest working human I've ever met. And so the story that I held for such a long time is that I have to work hard to have money. And so this was huge for me. And I know when I got into my business, my mindset was I can always trade us out of anything. I can work harder than anybody else. And literally that was my mindset. So in my business, I got to about $850,000, business revenue. But what came in went out. And I was working 60-hour weeks. I was earning 50% of the revenue. My team were earning the other 50% of the revenue. I wasn't leading. So this is when I had my epiphany. Come home from a 12-hour day, sitting on the end of my bed, another 12-hour day, and I had these little people run to me. My kids. And I had nothing left in the tank. Like I literally was just like, oh gosh, I just don't even have energy for you beautiful humans. The reason I'm here and doing this, supposedly. And it was like, wow, this is when my life absolutely, flashed before me. And I thought I need to upgrade my thinking. There has to be an easier way. And I looked and thought, I don't want to be my dad at 71 working 100 hours a week. And if something doesn't change, that's what's going to happen to me. Now, he's made lots of money and, I've got entrepreneurial parents, but the mindset is you work hard for your money. Yeah. And so I knew that I didn't want that for me. So it was like, that's when I got my first business coach and everything absolutely changed for me. I had to really do the work on those money stories and limiting beliefs. And I know that you would see a lot of money stories, limiting belief with women. What are the most common ones that you see?
Well, exactly what you said then. So the top ones are you got to work hard, really hard. And I think that's a generational thing, especially from, you hear a lot of people with their parents, like you work really hard. And then there's the thing, you can work really hard, get the money and then lose it all, right? So that's another one that plays out. And then there is, I'm just not good with money. I'm not smart enough to manage it. So then they outsource it to someone else to manage it, or a partner, and then, have no financial literacy or independence on what actually it means. And then you've got, I'm not worthy of money. And even though the people aren't consciously saying, I'm not worthy of money, right? People aren't getting around there saying, I don't want to make more money. Everyone's saying they want to make more money. But these are the stories that are playing out for the women that they're not aware of. And so, when we get into the limiting beliefs, like mine's definitely similar to yours. Like you got to work hard. My dad was a chef, lunches, dinners, never home, parents never home, lived at my grandma's house, so it's that got to work hard. And until you, like you did, you caught yourself in the moment, until you catch yourself in the moment and you go, oh shit, I'm doing the exact thing that I didn't want to do. Right? And you have those moments. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? I've got a couple of clients too that actually do get like to a point of freedom and then they don't know what to do with themselves. Yeah. Like there's a real transition. So how do people know that they're in fear, that they're in that money loop or unconscious money patterns? Like we know that.
The thing that I really hone in on, especially with everyone that I work with, is I try to make it not about the money. It's not actually about the income level. And this is proven through, I have some women working with me that are week to week. Like I'm talking paycheck to paycheck. They are down to the last dollar and they're making it work and they're doing what they need to do. And then I've got some women that are on 6-7 figures. How can the same women with such significant income levels have the same problems, right? Because this is what society tells us, that money will solve the problems that you have. But it's like literally proven that it doesn't. And it's proven through the people who come into my world. And the person who's living paycheck to paycheck cannot make sense of how the woman with 7 figures has any fucking problems, right? She's like, but what do you mean? But the woman up here, she does. It's just on a different scale and a different level. So my whole thing is, are you comfortable with how you think and how you feel and how you behave with money, regardless of how much is in your bank account? So if you've got $200 in there, $2,000 in there, $200,000 in there, $2 million there, what are the thoughts and the feelings and behaviors? So if you are not confident in that amount and going, what am I doing proactively towards it? How am I thinking about that money? Oh my God, it's so amazing. I have $200, rather than, oh shit, I've got no money left over. So everything for me is how you think, how you feel, and how you behave with whatever that income level is. So if you are not in alignment with a way that is towards positive future you, then you know that you're in that loop of scarcity, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, beautiful. And I know, vision for you is where you sort of start.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to really talk about that and then move through the phases of how you feel, when we've got to have a vision for our money. Like at the end of the day, most people have never actually, this is a big problem that I see, is people get into business, they have no vision for their business, no vision for their money. They're just caught in default mode and not actually really clear on what they want, why they want it. So they've got something to work towards. So I'd love you to talk us through the stages, especially vision.
Yeah, so vision. And do you know what? I think the personal development world messes this up for people, to be honest, because I was exactly that person, not even a year ago, Beck. Like, I used to think there was something wrong with me because I didn't have a big vision and a big mission. I used to think everyone's got these like big goals. Everyone wants to impact people. And here I am like, what am I doing? I just want to make money. Can I just make money? Is that allowed to be a vision? Everyone was telling me that I'm not allowed to just make money. It has to be heart. It has to be soul-led. And then I felt guilty, right? Because I'm like, I just want to make a heap shitload of money. But that's not good enough. You're not allowed to do that in the personal development world. And I actually have finally found it.
The mission.
So like, my first thing is just, you never know. You never know when that vision and that mission might drop in. And I never felt like I really had anything. And so I joined other people's visions and missions. And I worked for a big personal development. I worked for NLP. And I joined in on other people's visions and missions. And then I started Miss Martin. And then it just came to me one night. It was like breaking generational cycles. And then I went, you know what? I'm going to put a number on this. So the number is measured. So how do I measure the 10,000 people who come through my signature program, the money method? And then obviously be hundreds and thousands impacted through free things, resources, social media, all of that sort of stuff. So my first message is, if you don't have a vision that's really big and impactful, it's okay. And what I'm teaching people to do now is, your vision and your mission could be, you want to own your own home and have no debt. You want to scale your business to a certain level and have it at a certain amount of team. That I love to take the business goals and connect them to the personal world. Because maybe you want 2 horses. Like, maybe your vision is to have 2 beautiful horses that you can afford to buy the most amazing food, have a carer come look after them, and you just get to ride them for fun. Maybe your vision is that you really want a beautiful spa under a pergola kind of thing. Like, the vision gets to be as big and grand as, I want to impact 1 million people. I want a, 7-figure business. I want franchises. I want a beauty place in Perth, Sydney, Melbourne. And also it can be, hey, we just want to buy a home and I really want to get a spa out the back, or I want to get this ridiculous breed dog that costs $10,000. So we get to scale it back. But like you said at the start, it's so important to actually have something that we're working towards, because we know that if we're looking at the laws and the energy, where focus goes, where energy flows, focus goes, vice versa. And so if we're just like, I want to make a lot of money, who, what, when, how, we need to know what we're working towards. So yeah, always start with the vision. And I really get people to choose their own adventure. I really don't like it when some of the big personalities say, you know, you got to have a 20-year, you got to have a 10-year. Like, yes, I think it's great, but I know I've been in situations where I can't see that far ahead. And then it makes you feel less than because you don't have it. And so my job as a coach is to make everyone feel like they can do it. And they've got it for their...
Well, if you can get to the 1 year.
Yep.
And then, you know, just even, right, where would I love to be just in vision for 1 year from now? So this one of the things that we do with our clients is we're always thinking about the 1 year. We do have a big mission. We've taken our clients through more on business, and then we break it down. And we're only looking sort of 1 year, then 90 days, weekly, daily.
Yep.
So it's really easy to just go, shivers, you know, I only need to do these couple of little things. And by doing those couple of needle moving activities every single day, it's going to get me closer to that big vision or goal or, you know, that dream. So so there's a bit of a pathway that you follow. So vision, then beliefs.
Yeah, beliefs. So that's where the stories, what are we telling ourselves? What are the emotions, or beliefs and emotions kind of into the one thing, but that's where the stories come up. It's hard. Money, like you said it before, money is only for evil people. Money doesn't grow on trees, all the different things. And most of that, honestly, I would say 99% of those beliefs are from our parents. Our parents play such a significant role on how they modeled money to us, or did or didn't model money to us. And even people who do come from a wealthy family, or like where they did have abundance and they did have money, they have their own set of problems as well. But I find a lot of the people who are in my world come from a similar background to me, which is, you know, that my parents, it was a bit of a hustle, it was a grind, they did work, and then now they've got nothing to show for it. So we constantly need to be aware of the stories and the thoughts that we're having. And then the thoughts is actually what causes an emotion in the body. And this is where most women sabotage, is not actually in the thoughts, it's the emotion. So really great example actually on your call the other day. I can't remember who it was specifically, but she said, when I'm sad, I go out and spend, right? So it wasn't the spending that caused her to be sad, or it wasn't the thought that caused her to be sad. It was, I feel sad, so then I spend. And so we self-sabotage a lot when it comes to the emotions that we're feeling. The emotions. And then go do the behavior. And not wanting
to feel them,
So go do the behavior of spending, then feel crap because you went and spent. So then you go back up and you go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then, like, you know, the loop. And then you get caught in this loop. So the biggest thing is breaking the pattern. So breaking that emotional pattern and breaking the thought and rewiring it and doing it differently. But it's a little bit difficult with money because sometimes we just do it so unconsciously and we're not even aware of it. And I'll give you a really good example of someone who was sabotaging and wasn't even aware of it. And the only reason I picked it up is because she told me. And so I feel like women keep a lot of secrets when it comes to money. They may not share how much they spent. They may not, like, who's going to go reveal that they went and spent and then they feel guilty about it. We're on a coaching call and she goes, da 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 da. She's talking 100 miles an hour. And she goes, yeah, but I put it on Afterpay. And I was like, what? You put what on Afterpay? And she goes, oh, I put everything on Afterpay. And I don't like Afterpay, right? We don't need it in our lives. It's just like, only buy the thing if you can freaking afford it. And I looked at her and I go, you have more than enough money to be able to buy any linen sheets that you want. You could buy silk ones, like, because I know how much this woman makes. And she goes, yeah, but I put everything on Afterpay. Everything. If Afterpay is an option, she will put it on Afterpay. And in that moment, I was like, hey, it's actually not about the Afterpay. The Afterpay is not the issue. Why is she feeling the need? What is the emotion that's making her think that she has to put it on Afterpay? And it's safety. I don't feel safe. I could run out of money. I could lose the money. So at least if I put it on Afterpay, that'll schedule it out. So if for some reason she magically loses all of her money in a week or whatever. I don't know what the thought was, but you see when you talk about how bamboozling it sounds? So it
Mm.
was like, okay, I'm actually going to ban you from putting everything on Afterpay. And we actually need to deal with the emotion of what you feel in that moment, which was safety, because ex's money situation, she's been done before, she's had no money before, she's had debt before. So this was a safety mechanism for her. I put everything on Afterpay to keep me safe, even though she has more than enough money to pay for it full price. Does this make
Mm.
sense? So it's so
Yeah,
important.
100%.
It's actually cool. I actually love it, Beck, because people just think that they're just doing this little thing. And I'm like, this is a way bigger issue here. Like, this is a self-trust piece. This is
Let's
a
go
safety
deep.
piece.
Yep.
This is you need to have a conversation with your current partner about money. And she's like, really? I'm like, yep. Like, and we go deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I think too, like you got to think about the energetics of money, which is, most women don't feel safe or they haven't built the
Yes.
capacity. A lot of
Yeah.
women will start building their businesses and they get capped because their capacity of holding, receiving, holding, all that goes with it. But if we
Yeah.
sort of come over and look at the strategic part of it, so the action
Mm.
part, the business break evens, the personal budgeting, looking at the numbers, sales, and everything that's involved in that. What do you think, what is the most important thing that we need to logically, but also strategically, the actions that we need to do maybe on a daily, weekly basis because most people avoid it. They're avoiding or they don't actually know where their money's going. And we know that money loves order.
Yeah.
What would be some of the things that you could recommend to our listeners right now of some of the things that they must have or be doing?
Yeah. So from a business point of view, I assume would most of your people be using Zero?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So
100%.
like bare minimum Zero, bare minimum tracking income, tracking expenses, and making sense of your P&L in there. And that would be something that would be monthly. So going in to your P&L and going, okay, how much profit came in? What was the expenses? Where were the expenses? And making sure that when you're coding in Zero, that I actually like to get quite granular. Like, you don't have to start off with, but it's really great to get granular. Like if I want to know how much I'm paying for subscriptions versus how much I'm paying for software, I split them. I don't just put them all in subscription for software,
Yeah.
because there'd be wages and there'd be staff and there'd be different products and all of that sort of stuff. But I think the more, and you don't have to go in there straight away and subset it. You might just go, my focus for this week is really making sense of what is happening in this category. Am I happy with it? Everything just being charged to that category? Or do I need to break it down into 3 different buckets? So then at the end of the month, I can look and go, oh, okay, that's what's happening in the category. And so every month you should be looking at that and starting to look at the numbers, starting to look at the balance sheet and making sense what a balance sheet is, starting to look at the P&L with would there be many, there probably wouldn't be any outstanding debt, would there?
No,
Because people
people
pay all
pay
the
pretty
stuff.
much well, yeah,
No,
as they
maybe like
go.
supplier bills or something like that. But really making sense of that. And then when it comes to coming to your personal finances, so do you kind of recommend that people have their business and draw a wage?
Yes.
Yeah, they draw a wage. So then
Yeah.
what are they doing? What's the goal for the wage? If they want to draw, it's a really great way to work out a goal. Like if you go personally, for my family, the lifestyle that we live and the way that we shop and the things that the kids do for sports and the way my hubby eats steaks, we need, I'm just going to use round numbers, 2 grand a week that comes from my wage. Well, then you can kind of reverse engineer it and go,
Mm.
okay, if I'm going to pull 2 grand a week from my business, what does my business need to bring in? That's where a cash flow forecast, which I'm pretty sure you probably have as well, comes in handy, where you start to put in the numbers. So from now, July to the end of this December, if you start to plug in all those numbers in and then you actually put your forecast in, you go, okay, I've got real data now on what I'm trying to achieve, and I need my business to do this so I can fund my lifestyle over here at whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then in the personal category, I really recommend everyone, it is something to look at because it can so easily slip and it's so easy to tap and spend. And a budgeting, there's so many amazing budgeting apps that connect to your everyday account. So you link them together, and it'll code everything into categories for you. And so I actually look at that once a week. So I just get on and it'll code everything. It'll be like, this is how much you spend on groceries. This is how much you spend on fuel. This is how much you spend on merchandise or beauty or and any of the things that I can't charge through the business, right? And then every now and again you kind of look and you'd be like, oh, had a bit of a month there. Like I was joking around the other day in my container. I was like, the most expensive freaking takeaway in our life right now is sushi. And I was like, what is going on? And I said to Luke, how much sushi are you buying the kids? I was like, incrementally every single week, the sushi, like sushi. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I've been a bit bad lately. So unless I saw that, it wouldn't open up a conversation for us to go, hey, do we really want to feed our kids sushi all the time? Are we being lazy? Do we need to? So it's not just about the money. It's about conversations with your partner. What are the goals that you want for your kids? Like, geez, like sushi's cheap. How are we spending this much on
sushi?
Right? And then I notice as well, I'll be like, oh, that was a big week. What did I do? I got my hair done. I got my nails done. I got this done. And it's like, okay. And then on the daily, I feel like it depends who you are. So if you're an avoider, you should start looking at your bank account every single day and getting comfortable with the money and the number in there and start chatting to it. I actually have I have this $100 note here, right? And it sits in front of my computer. And I just chat to it. Hey, how are you feeling today? How are you?
Build the relationship.
Build the relationship. So you can look at your account, first feel the feeling. If it's only got $20 in there, right? If it's got $2,000 in there, I don't know where your level is on what's good or bad. Everyone has their own levels. And you just go, hey, how are you going? Great to see you today. What's going on? However, we do have some people, and in my quiz, they're called architects, and they over optimize, over manage, and they're the people who are checking their bank account like 6 times a day, right? They're obsessed. They check. That
was my little one that came out of there.
All the time. They check all the time. Now, you can be an architect in a good way, or you can be an over-obsessive architect. So, for example, the story before of the lady who put everything on Afterpay, she's an architect, but in a over complicating way. And so what's really good with an architect, if you're over optimizing, fussing, checking, you're worried that the money's not going to be there, so you've got to check it. I always say to the architects, I say, imagine if money was a human and you were having a conversation, how would it feel about your friendship right now? And a lot of people go, oh, it feels a bit suffocated. I'm like, yeah. So we just need to. And so, yeah, it's kind of, I feel like it's not just blanket advice. Everyone needs to do this because money is fickle and so many people have different emotional ties to it. Whereas, and depending on where the person's at, it'll be like, well, maybe they need to do this. Maybe the architects actually need to stop logging in and checking their bank accounts. And the avoiders actually need to start logging in and checking it. And then the hustlers need to get everything out of their freaking brain and actually create a system to start, using systems to help them. And same with the dreamers. If you've got a dreamer where they're just like, if I just align harder, if I just, I know I'm destined for good things, and I just they trust the universe more than they trust themselves, right?
Yeah,
and so for the hustlers and the dreamers, it's about coming down and creating systems. And for the dreamers to go, yay, have your affirmations, have your positive vibes written on your mirror, but what are you actually doing today in a practical sense to manage or make money?
Yeah, it's so true. I know even with our ladies doing the pricing for profit, I always say it's not a pricing exercise, it's a self-worth exercise. And what some of our ladies actually go through, oh, I don't know if I can charge that much, absolutely mind-blowing. And I guess too, one of the things that we're really working on is the personal budgets at the moment, because a lot of our business owners have everything set up in their business, but they don't actually have it set up for their life. And how can they both be in flow together. Because if we've got a business and you're not actually making any money out of it, then what the hell have we got our business for? So, and a lot of salon and clinic owners can sometimes feel a bit icky around the word sales, and that there's a lot of fear, especially with being seen and visible. Because, if you get seen and visible, people might buy your stuff. There's that fear even though we're talking about money, there's a lot that there's so much actually going on. And I love that you said building your relationship with money. One of the exercises that we've done with our ladies is that they've got, money on their mirror in their bathroom. And it's like to start your conversations. Hey, money, I love you, money. Because a lot of the time we've actually treated money really poorly. We don't actually value it going out, coming back in. We don't even pay attention to it. Like when you pay your wages, oh my God, I get to pay my girls, and, and really start to be conscious of the money going out. When you go to the supermarket, oh, look, I'm contributing to this person's wages, all the farmers where I've just bought all my fruit and vegetables. Like we don't actually really think about it, and we have to build that relationship. But back to, when it comes to feeling that icky around sales and, confidence and, all those things that a lot of women actually struggle with. But it really comes back to their belief around money and, as you said, a self-trust. Trusting themselves, the biggest topic of all. So if you could give, because that's really what at the core of everything, isn't it? If you could give some advice right now, what would that be?
It would be that society has modeled to us that self-trust is built once we get results and once we're validated. So at the moment when I see the result in my salon, then I'll believe myself. When this person does X, Y, Z, then I'll believe myself. When I'm insert whatever, then I'll believe myself. And it's so back to front when it comes to self-trust, because self-trust is built in the void. Self-trust is built in the darkness. Self-trust is actually built, then the results come. So it's about completely shifting your perspective and going, how can I hold this paradox of I need to do the thing even though there's no evidence? And when you lean into that area of growth and that area of uncomfortableness and that area of the unknown, which is why it's so great to have mentors, coaches, people like you, Beck, who you've gone before these women to say, if you just trust yourself, I promise you it's there. It's there. You just got to get past this leap. And so if you are, my advice would be, if you're waiting for the result before you trust yourself, you need to flip the script and trust yourself first, and then watch the results of trusting yourself just come to life. It's like magic.
Yeah, trusting yourself with the money, trusting yourself that you've got something to say, trusting yourself with your team. When I see the bottlenecks or, with business owners, everything comes back to self-trust. It's huge, isn't it? I know it's one of your key teachings. So if we could go back and you whisper something to your younger self around money and self-worth, what would that be?
To buy Bitcoin earlier.
Yeah. So, and do you teach Bitcoin strategies?
Yeah. I teach all things crypto. I'm big into crypto. Absolutely love the ecosystem. I've been in it since 2017, so I still got in pretty. I think about if I had just learnt this earlier, how different my life would be. And I'm so grateful and love that my journey has created me to be the person that I am today. Miss Martin exists. Don't take any of that away, but I think back to if I had stepped up and really took ownership of my money situation earlier. Like Luke and I joke around sometimes, like the amount of money that we made in Perth was ridiculous. We could have a couple of properties now if we had the brains.
And own them outright.
With the market right now. Yeah, like but we just didn't have any know-how.
Skills.
And so I get super excited when younger women, like a 22-year-old woman joined, her and her mum joined my program, and it just melted me because she's in her 60s, her daughter's 20, and they joined together, and I just thought, yes, like if I can impact you at the age of 20. So I would tell my younger self to learn earlier than what I did, and the biggest thing, to really be the gatekeeper of your mind and who you want to listen to and what thoughts you want to allow in. It's so important. If I had done that at a younger age and didn't listen to particular people, I think it's so important to be the gatekeeper of your own mind.
So true, isn't it? What does wealth really mean to you now beyond just the money?
So if you know, so do you know what etymology is?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So every word, so the etymology of a word, it goes far beyond like the dictionary, and it's like where the origin of the word came from. And what's really interesting, when you look up the etymology of the word wealth, it's actually happiness. And so
Isn't that
this is
amazing?
where this is why with everything that we do inside NLP, it's so important what words you're using, because words cast spells. You cast
Spells.
spells with your words. And so many people are using words like, everyone says, I'm so overwhelmed. Do you know what overwhelmed means? Your boat is turned upside down. So we say these things without even realizing the energetic weight that they have behind them. So the wealth, to me, which people wouldn't know, so like my challenge, the Wealthy Woman Week, it's not about the money, which most people will be drawn to. It's actually about the wealth in terms of
Joy, happiness,
fun, impact, debt, saving, spending, like relationship. It's all of these
all of
pillars
it.
are the wealth.
Yeah, I
Because
love
really,
that.
like,
So
let's be honest, the goal is to be happy, yeah?
100%,
But that's
100%
too
experience
corny.
more
You can't put
joy.
that in your
Yeah,
bio. You can't put that in your
I
bio.
know. I'm so glad that I asked you that question, because I think it'll just get, our listeners like, oh, it's so true. And most people don't experience happiness, joy, fun. It's stressful. It's living in scarcity. It's a dysregulated nervous system, because that's what that's how they've always operated. It's worry. They don't know how to actually be joyful in the moment,
And we've been
and
modeled that that's normal.
yeah, that's normal. And the amount of people that come into my program and they go, oh, I just felt overwhelmed. We're going to say, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that word out of your vocabulary. Your
Yeah.
words are
Do you know,
creating your reality.
I deleted the word busy from my vocabulary. I don't say it
Yes.
anymore. Everyone's like, hey, but I'm busy, 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 busy. It's like,
That
well,
used to be my story.
you create what you say. Like if you're busy, you're busy. Then you're gonna feel busy. Then you're gonna feel stressed. Then you're gonna feel. I completely deleted busy. And if I am having a moment, like this last week has definitely been on the verge, and I've gone to say that word, and I just say my life is very full of activities at the moment, and I'm loving it. And I chose all
Yeah.
these activities.
Yeah. And isn't it, simple little word shifts. I get to do this. I get to
Yeah.
build an incredible business. I get to lead my team today. I get to welcome and receive money into my bank account. I get to pay, my team members. It's just those little shifts. And most people are so unaware of what they're saying. Busy used to be, I reckon it was my favorite word. And same as you, when I realized, oh my God, no wonder everything was so chaos, because my number one word was busy. I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. Of course. What am I going to create? Just
Yeah.
craziness everywhere,
Yeah.
and not have a regulated nervous system, big learnings. So, Katie, where do we find you? For people that want to
Mostly
reach
on
out.
Insta.
Yep.
Mostly on Insta, so Instagram, Mrs.Katie Martin, Mindset Money Mentor. If we put a link below to that free quiz, that will be a
Yes.
really great starting point for thoughts, feelings, emotion. It's just a really great starting point to go, where am I at now? And then what could I potentially shift? I feel like, yeah, that's just a free quiz that's in my bio, or I think if we pop it under here, that's a great place to start and get to actually start looking at where your money ownership level is now, and how you can take it to the next level.
Yeah, beautiful. And have you got any exciting offers or masterclasses that you're doing at the moment that you want to share?
Not at the moment. So I do have, I mentioned it before, I do have a 7-day challenge, which is called the Wealthy Woman Week. So that will be, the next one will be October. So that's a while away. But if you jump onto the quiz and join my mailing list, then I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love talking all things money. I think it's a big topic. I think there's a lot of gold that we've absolutely just shared. Is there anything else you want to share before this beautiful conversation today?
Yeah, for sure. I want to share that you don't need to be a millionaire to start owning your money. I think there's the biggest limiting belief that keeps women stuck is when I make more money, then I'll insert whatever it is. When I make more money, then I'll start investing. When I make more money, then I'll do this, then I'll do this. And it's the biggest limiting belief block that keeps women stuck. You get to have complete financial ownership. You can feel confident, empowered, in control, break the money generational cycles that you have with the exact amount of income level that you have right now. It's about being in the present and going, this is my situation right now. I take full ownership. Like I'm living proof of it. I took full ownership of this is my responsibility to sort this out. And as soon as I did that, I started with $5 a week investing. Like, you can't tell me you don't have $5, right? So it's just, you don't need to be a millionaire to start owning your financial future. You can do it today.